Garry and I was finding the difference between analysing the landscape and responding to it personally. So there's a belonging that we all feel when we're in the bush. If you're in the bush, that is your indigenous ground. So if you're German, it might be in the German forests. But if you're Australian, the Australian bush can feel very comforting and homely, and it's a very different experience from the inside from the way we analyse nature, the way we see it as outside of ourselves and somehow over there. So we looked at the different levels of analysis by using these maps. So the first one is vegetation. There's topographical map, that one's ocean levels, and this one is like a satellite map, a Google map. And we took an unseen element from each of these environments and tried to imagine what it would be like somehow inside that life force, and to look from inside that life force or that being instead of from inside being a human being. So shifting the gaze from the anthropocentric away off into something inside nature. The first one is a cross-section of a lily pad, lily flower, which has been overlaid by the Angophora trees that surround it. The second one is a bat fetus that's been inscribed with the topographical map that it will be born into and echolocate from. The third one is a dinoflagellate, fabulous name. It's a microscaled bioluminescent plankton. And so you're seeing like the inside of its body, so as if you were in it. It's actually the mould of the work, it's the negative space around the work. It's trying to get your mind into the space. What if you were a dinoflagellate? What would the world look like? How would you experience life? The last one was a tardigrade, and I'm not sure if anyone knows about tardigrades. They're fabulous. They're micro animals, about 0.02 millimetres long, so beyond the eye's capacity. And they're the most resilient animal on the planet. They've got 8 legs, and they can survive in outer space, in Antarctica, inside a volcano that's active. They can live for 30 years with no water and no food, and then rehydrate with a drop of water and become alive again. They have they are the most resilient. They're called an extremophile. They're the most resilient, one of the most resilient animals on the planet. And we don't see them, there are electron micrographs of them that are fascinating. They've got a mouth like a vacuum cleaner. Anyway, so they really inspired me as something from maybe this image of nature's taken from a satellite. So it's an animal that lives on Earth that they think could be part of a life from outer space. This could be one of the examples because it can survive in outer space, and it has the largest amount of external DNA of all animals, because when they eat, they rehydrate a large amount of what they are surrounded by. Anyway, their other names are moss piglets and water bears. So in the middle of the installation, so this is all, we kind of thought it's all very well to have wall work, but like a lot of the other artists in the exhibition, I think, we really wanted to get off the wall and to incorporate people into the experience of the meaning that we wanted to convey. So both of us really wanted just a bit of the forest floor on the ground, just to sort of contextualise this sort of analytical, more academic analysis. And Garry catches bats, microbats, with this trap. This is actually a trap. So you set it up in between the trees where they would fly through, and they fall down. They can't echolocate off the fishing line. So they get caught in it and they fall down into a little plastic trap that falls down here. So it's actually up vertically. And then you go before dawn and you record the gender, the location, the sex of the bat, and that goes into the data. So this is very much about his work. He records the location and data of different animals. And specifically, he loves recording. He's set up huge databases of bats and frogs. And I really wanted to bring humans into it, and I did want to bring some questions into the installation. So, hence the human heads. I welcome a macabre reading. They are caught in their own trap. This is where I was going with it. But also, they're starting to think, each of them has an element from, the 4 elements. Or some of the elements, there's fire, water, air. This is owl wings that were gifted to me by someone who found a dead owl, and casuarina. So that's the genesis. Yeah.
Can I ask how you created the heads?
Yeah, the heads, I kind of wanted them to look like they were either growing or exploding. It's a thermoplastic, so I had to heat form them around moulds, which is not easy. That was really hard. That was just one sheet of plastic.
And this was what we sat on, didn't we, at the camp, under the casuarina trees, on a picnic rug, and each of the groups came to Susan and myself towards the last day of the camp, and we talked about their ideas. So that, for me, whenever I walk out of my office, it just transports me back to the national park. And
well, a lot of us have that experience of, just sitting amongst the casuarina leaves, which are very much part of an estuarine environment, and very much about the park, and very much about bringing a person back into that space of experiencing it personally rather than from a distanced analytical view.
so let's move into the... Thank you, Kassandra.